Welcome to Uncontained. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and on the show today, it is part 2 of Gustavo Bulgach from the band Klezmer Juice, and we continue the conversation right where we left off last week as he's talking about what music means to him and what he thinks the purpose of music is. And we also jump back into talking a little bit about playing on the set of Wedding Crashers, along with the final 5 questions that I ask all my guests on every show. So that's all coming up. I won't keep you waiting any longer. I already kept you waiting a week. So please let me know what you think of the episode, what you think of 2-part episodes right here on Uncontained. And yeah, this time I promise I won't keep you waiting any longer. This is Gustavo Bulgach from Klezmer Juice, part 2 on Uncontained.
I got a question for you here. Well, actually, it's bringing it back. Before the show started, we were talking for a minute. You were saying what you thought music was about and what the purpose of music was.
Exactly. Okay. What I said to you before is that through my own experience, because, my grandfather introduced us to music and then he gave us some instruments and then we were playing in family events and everything related with music was the synonymous of love and unity and really lovely images. I mean, I think that music is like an arrowhead. Music or any cultural event for any ethnic group acts like an arrowhead and opens up trenches for the rest of the culture to go through. Why? Because this is what I do with Klezmer Juice, and that's why I'm saying that Klezmer is just a platform and it's not my whole thing. Because what I do with Klezmer Juice is I play for a lot of people who don't know what a Jew looks like or Jewish music is about. They never seen anything, or they have wrong ideas, or they hate for some reason. And then when they come to the show and they dance the blues away and they celebrate whatever it is, and they find that what they dancing to is a beat that they can relate, and the boompa 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 and the waltz and the stuff, they immediately drop the guns, and it will be impossible for them to hate the people. When you love the music, you cannot hate the people. That's why America had not killed out of this racist rage all the African Americans, because the African American music is beloved by white and blacks alike.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world loves the African American music to the bone. That they, white kids want to be like black kids, and always been the same story. And that's why the African American experience survived and evolves, and is still the arrowhead. Is still far away. And when rap started, and when I was playing at the House of Blues, it was so controversial that some people hated it, and some people were like, "Hey, you hate it because you don't understand." It's true. Wherever the path is for the African American experience, it was always avant-garde, always ahead of the time.
Definitely. And to go along with your point that, if you like somebody's music, it's hard to hate them. Rarely ever do you hear somebody be like, dude, I love that guy's music, but I hate him,
No, I even heard experiences where people go to performers and go like, I can't believe I used to hate these Greeks, or I used to hate these Turks, or I used to hate these Iraqis, or I used to hate these Iranians, or I used to hate these Egyptians, or these Israelis, or whatever. And then this music is sick, man. You guys are sick. You tell the guy is flipped. He's flipping. He's flipping out. It's like he's rediscovering his true self and transforming the energy of hate into love, because the opposite of love is not hate, is indifference.
Okay.
Why do you break up with your girlfriend? Because you feel nothing towards her. You don't feel you hate her. As much as you hate her, you're going to transform and love her. But when that energy is out, love is like a chocolate cake. when the cake is over, the love is gone.
I like that. I like that. You have like so many great quotes in this interview, man.
I know. I'm amazed myself.
You need to write a book of just like analogies, quotes, like instead of like Aesop's fables, it's Gustavo's quotes. I don't know. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but we'll work on it and get it.
Whatever is fresh is good.
Definitely. Before I get to like my final questions here, I want to go back to Wedding Crashers really quick because we never really wrapped that up. How long was it until you figured out that they weren't trying to prank you?
Well, when we went to the set, which was like at 4 a.m. call, and I think the Jewish wedding where we were supposed to participate was the first thing. So we walk into the set and set up the band, of course, without the sound. But the guitar player and the bass player had the amps, and I had a fake mic, and we had the drummer. So we were pretty much acoustic. And imagine, 5:30 a.m., all these extras and all these people and whatever, and it's cold and dark, and they trying lights, and the director is walking with the camera trying to get the angle, and la la la, and nothing is happening, and musicians, they start playing, and la la la, and one thing leads to the other. So we start playing really sick, upbeat wedding music at 5:30 in the morning. And all the actors and the extras start dancing like it's happening. And the director said, "Cut! I don't want this to happen." And I was like, "Oh my God, now he's going to fire me without us shooting. So let's start the camera and start rolling. This is sick." So in the beginning, they were supposed to play back the music we recorded. But then he was like, "No, you guys play it." So they put the camera inside of the clarinet. And that's how the scene started. And then we play, I don't know, 4 hours of that. Every time had to be like really full on and full on. So a great idea turned into like, oh my God, again. Yeah, back to one. So, but it was fun because every time they call cut, I know Vince since the 90s. So I was hanging out with him and he was asking me questions and making me really look good. And Owen Wilson also was hanging out with us. And, it was like a Hollywood moment. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
These people are wonderful. And you feel like, oh, this is going to last for only 2 days. Oh, how can I leave this situation forever? And, whatever. But at that moment, it was a shooting, so it's a lot of waiting and a lot of hours, long hours of nothing. But, we did our part and it was fun and everybody was very pleased, including ourselves. And then that was it. And then months and months go by, and then the musical supervisor called me to advise him on a different project. So talking to him, I said, "So whatever happened with the Wedding Crashers?" "Oh, they're editing and stuff, and whatever, it's gonna come up in I don't know, January. All right, or for Christmas, whatever." And I was like, how weird, because Christmas is coming up pretty soon and nothing happens. So what happened was they decided to delay the release of the movie to the following summer. And it was like a summer movie. So when it came out, we were blown away. Like, what? Yeah, the movie. Then I started getting emails from New Line Cinema, inviting us to the premiere. Nice. And offering us to play where there was the red carpet. And we probably going to open in whatever, you guys should come. And we did an event for them, and then lead to another event, and then lead to another event. And they let me, they weren't paying almost anything. They were just giving us a little tip to the musicians. But what happened was, going back to Benny Maupin, I went to get guidance, and I said, I don't think it's fair. These people are using us, and we're getting nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And he said, dude, this is going to be the #1 movie, and you're going to be attached to it. So you can never afford the promotion. He said, being in the tail of the horse is more important than being the head of the rat. And run with that wild horse as a little, you know, tick in the tail is more important than anything else. Then the soundtrack got nominated for a Grammy, and then, whatever, and then they tripled the amount of expectation in money and fame, and everybody was happy, and we were happy, and they allowed me to use my. They even sent me the official uh, movie scenes where we are in the movie,
Yeah.
so I can use them to promote. It's wonderful, and from like having really very little bookings to really go around the world and share, what we were doing, and release another album and another one, and it became really important for us. It was like a big, it was that train of. That's what I'm saying. At that moment, I didn't know we were running such speed, but to jump into the train of opportunity in the movie with such a negative energy,
Yeah.
that this will be a prank or whatever. It's just my. I was such an arrogant, reactor. Until I realized that it doesn't matter. What matters is the opportunity. It doesn't matter if you make it happen or not. What happens, what matters is they gave you an opportunity to do this, you've done it, then is somebody else's fortune or whatever, your part is done.
Yeah, definitely, man. So that sounds like a crazy time on set. It would have been awesome to be one of the extras in the crowd, dancing along to you guys playing on the Wedding Crashers.
It was awesome because it was like, it was really, I mean, when it wasn't a real wedding, it was actors, so they were acting.
Yeah.
But they were acting like they were really into it. So you think they were really into it, but they were acting. So when you're among really good actors, you don't believe you were acting. We are there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely do.
It's just a very magical thing. It's this very, the manifestation of a great performance. I'm trying to describe this in it's being an hour and 25 minutes, but I don't think I can be accurate enough to really, to express, the gratitude I have for having such a moment. I have this sorrow too, deep sorrow. I mean, I told you about Austin, and it's tremendous moments of darkness, but it has to complement.
Yeah,
you
definitely. As you mentioned, we are at like an hour 25 right now, and I haven't even gotten into my closing questions yet. So this will probably end up being a two-part episode. And because, we've covered a lot in this episode. You have so many great stories about working at the House of Blues and on the Wedding Crashers.
You want to hear the most important story to wrap up the whole House of Blues experience?
Yes.
You know what was the most profound benefit I got?
What was that?
Not touring. I stayed home. I had my baby in 97, and I was able to, along with my wife Cynthia, really raise our own kid and not rely on a third parties.
Yeah.
We were taking the kid everywhere, man. And I'm telling you, everywhere. Imagine everywhere. My daughter learned how to walk at the House of Blues.
Wow.
I'm telling you, pretty much everything. She was there with me, first on the bassinet, on the car, or whatever. She was with my wife on set. We had the tremendous opportunity to have a beautiful daughter who had been with us, and we being, participant of her education and growth. And that to me is, I have seen so many great musicians who tell me like, man, I'm on the road, all the time. I don't get time to see anybody, and they're heartbroken.
Yeah, that'd have to be tough, and that's amazing that you could still do what you loved and be there to raise that child and with your family.
You gotta do everything. There's no no's. If you gotta wear this tree outfit to be able to perform, okay, you're a tree today. If tomorrow you're gonna be a tomato, you're gonna be a tomato. But when you really have no no's and you get the best out of everything, you start trusting yourself, which is what but the golden coin I want to pass to you and to all your audience is that you drop the no, drop the ego, and treasure yourself, and you'll be rewarded with people that think alike, that vibe alike, and have energy like you. And those people exist, and those people have to connect. Don't wait for people to come to you, because that's called lazy.
Yeah. He'll get
No,
you comfy on the couch, but that's about it.
you never comfy on the couch. You never comfy on the
Very
couch.
true, very true. All right, man. So, now this is the portion of the show to help people who are looking to get into the entertainment industry or maybe get started in music. So, from your perspective, for somebody who's looking to get started as a musician or take their music career to the next level, what would be your advice for them?
Find a mentor.
Okay.
Find a mentor. Find a mentor. Your mentor, your true mentor, will guide you, and you will feel the need to please your mentor because you want to fulfill his vision as your own. If he says learn, you will learn. If he says challenge yourself, there's no rainy days. But out of your own life, you may succeed for a few weeks, but then your own mind will be your worst enemy. But if you put your trust on your mentor, with that unbelievable trust, you will trust yourself.
That makes sense, definitely. And it's easier to let yourself down than to let somebody else down that you respect.
Your mind is the weakest link in your life. Your liver has more strength than your brain because it only does positive things and
Yeah.
then one day it dies. But your brain goes back and forth, and it tricks you into not accomplishing what you have to accomplish in order for you to be happy, which is not the final destination, but is the journey itself,
Yes,
right? When
definitely.
is the moment of ecstasy with a girl? It's not when you're in bed with her, but it's when you first kiss her. When you guys embrace each other in the first kiss, that's 100%.
Very true, man.
Yeah, you sweat cold. You go like, oh my god, right?
It's the
You're
anticipation
like,
leading up to it.
everything. The big wave crashes in the first kiss. Doesn't crash in sex. Sex, it might be an extension of all that if you are young and energetic enough. But the truth of the matter is the conquering is happening at the embracement. It doesn't happen at the sexual act. So when you grab the girl and she grabs you and you kiss each other and you feel that she feels you, and you grab her and she grabs you and you go like, this is it.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then you want to continue that endlessly. But this is it. How many times did you embrace a girl, you kissed her, and you go like, this is not it. Let's move on.
Next.
Right? Yeah. But you just kissed me. Yeah, but that wasn't what I thought it will be.
It's not you, it's me.
Exactly. Or the same thing can happen to
Yeah.
her. And you just gotta accept and go like, she's not into me. Okay, fine. Find somebody who's into
Very
you.
true, man. Very true.
Right? Suffering for love. Oh, what a waste of time. And who wants to be a waste?
Nobody, man.
The Jewish thing. Who wants to be a waste? I hope you will not be a waste. Do not consider yourself a waste ever. And find yourself a mentor. Find yourself somebody whose words and deeds are your own. And you go like, I am not gonna walk this path, but I'm gonna walk along with this path. Because Benny Maupin in this case can give me guidance of what had happened when he made it
Yeah.
happen. But it's not as today. Today I have to make it happen in manifest in a different way. And that goes for young people. Manifestation. Give, don't get. Give, give. Change your mindset from getting into giving, because we are born and we're getting a lot and we're thinking that naturally we have to get. But who's giving to us for us to get? Is somebody who's changing from getting to giving. So if it's your mom and your dad and the world, one day you have to do the switch. So the earlier you do the switch, the energy flows. You cannot, like solar energy doesn't store for too long, so you use it or
Yeah.
lose it. Okay, energy in your life is like that. Use it or lose it. You cannot store energy and go like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be like much hornier than today. No, just use it today. Tomorrow we'll see tomorrow. But you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
If you really want to put 100%,
Definitely,
eh,
man.
and 100%, and somebody else's experience is so important to your life when you can understand that that experience enriches my life. You don't have to do that experience to enrich your own life. And secondly, everything is positive. Everything is it's up to you to find it.
Yeah.
It's up to you to find it. That's the challenge in life. That's I hate to say people are intelligent. That intelligence to me is nothing. Means nothing is a word that is like love. There is so many approaches to it that we can never agree. So I can never call people intelligent or less intelligent or judge intelligence. What I judge is the energy that lives in the core of your life, and if you have none, you have to get some. And if you do have some, transform that negative into positive because you already have the energy. As much as you hate, you can love. So if you hate me, go find somebody you can love with the same intensity, but don't stay in here,
Very true,
right?
man. That's definitely good advice right there, man. Don't waste your
The
time
human
hating.
condition, two legs, walk. America is a beautiful country because if you like to be in Miami, you can move to Miami. If you like to live in Atlanta, you can move to Atlanta. If you like to live, you can move there. There's so many angles. One more thing. I really was a big fan of Gato Barbieri, another legendary sax
Okay.
player who unfortunately died. And then I got connected with these people who were doing shooting a documentary about Gato Barbieri, and they wanted to interview me. And one of the questions of this really wise lady, who I had a tremendous great time with her, she said, "So you see any Gato Barbieris today?" And my answer was like, "I see millions of them.
How so?
Some of them are not activated at the moment. Some of them are already active, but there will be no one exactly like Gato Barbieri, but there will be many with the same passion, energy, and dedication. And that's what is worth of the art form of Gato Barbieri who's left behind is that inspires people to take the challenge. And if your life is a dirt road, a cobblestone road, or a paved road, or a beautiful road, is that's a manifestation. But hey, you know,
Definitely great advice that everybody can use. All three segments of that were pretty much Gustavo Gold right there. We'll go with that. That can be the name of your Gustavo Gold. Can be the name of your quote book.
truly appreciate. Otherwise, if I keep all these things to myself, uh, what is it good for? Nothing. Nothing. It will dry up in my own
Yeah.
brain. So I'm sharing it with you. Most of the musicians you will encounter or people in general, we have beautiful, amazing stories to tell you only if they open up their hearts to the unknown, to the who knows who's going to hear or listen to your
Yeah.
podcast. Maybe nobody, maybe a million people, but the openness of, the urge to give. I have an urge to give because I realize that if I don't give, I never get anything. I don't get anything back. And if you don't get anything, it's like not eating. If you don't eat, you don't get the nutrients, right?
Yeah, very true, man. And I appreciate you opening up and sharing right here on Uncontained with me and my audience, the 5 people who listen. That's the answer to your
It will
question.
grow. It will grow.
5 people in Squaukee, Illinois.
It will grow. The best is not yet here.
Exactly. So what are you doing right now to promote yourself?
I do a bunch of things, social media. Okay, end of the story. But if I'm flexible, I'm more like, my mission is to make people comfortable
Yeah,
because that's the only way they give you 100%. And I deal with a lot of musicians, and my musicians are amazing, and I love them dearly, and they give me 100% because I make them feel so comfortable that they want to give me 100%. You know, wanting something is so much valuable the mandatory.
definitely.
you know you have to do this. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, I give you freedom. That's what I learned from Miles Davis. He, you know such a controversial artist, and when I encounter not only Benny but many other musicians who work with Miles, they adore him to the bone. They None of them have anything to say but beautiful words about him. Like, they adore him as much as I adore him, because when I grew up, I listened to Miles so much, and I really adore the man. And unfortunately, he died before I was able to meet him. But other people tell me like how much they adore being with him and working with him, and being their friends, and having Miles around, and and he was flat out the master of making you feel so comfortable that you will give him 120%.
Awesome, man.
120. You want to give it again. You want to give it tomorrow. You want to give it to him every night.
And that's what the musicians that were playing with him were saying?
Absolutely. And that's how the music comes out like. That everything he did, people give 100%, and you can hear it in the albums or watch it on YouTube or whatever. That it was a family of of people, like disciples of Miles. That's what I'm trying to come to the point, that he he became a mentor of all these people that were able to manifest Miles's vision, but they weren't able to embrace that attitude if it wasn't for Miles to bring that platform forward, right?
Definitely. And it's a great mentor to have, too. Definitely being one of the greats. Now, I know we got a little sidetracked, but rolling back to get back on track here so you can get about your evening. What is it that you do to promote yourself musically
Right?
or otherwise to get in films?
Yeah. Well, there's many things, and because new things keep popping up, uh, people think that you have to choose between one and the other. But what I do instead is I embrace more. I go like, oh, now Instagram. Okay, let's embrace Instagram as a promotional tool. So I do social media, I do emailing, I do the old school
Okay.
posters, I call people on the phone. I love to place posters. I love to give people flyers and watch at their faces when I give them because I'm constantly
Yeah.
promoting. I always have something to talk about. Like, for example, I am putting together with a bunch of other people in LA. We're putting together the Klezmer Arts Institute of
Oh,
LA.
very cool.
Yeah, because Klezmer is for me a platform where I want to gather. In LA, it's not like in the East Coast with people, crash to each other in bars or on the streets and stuff. In LA, you need to create events so people come. They know the time. They know what we're gonna do. They even know what we're gonna drink. They even know what everybody's gonna wear. But we come and we nosh and we gather together and we schmooze. We play music. We sing some Yiddish songs. I explain the ABC of music in terms of klezmer, which is teaching them some rhythms and modes and stuff like that. Then we play some music. Then we go into something more improvisational. But the whole thing behind it is heavily social because we want to be arrowhead in a cultural movement and embrace and go out and invite people or all ethnicities uh, to share and to learn klezmer as they did in the past with
Yeah.
jazz and with blues and with rock and roll, I'm writing also high school and college programming, so I can provide to colleges and high schools with klezmer
Yeah.
programs, so they can put together programs, and it's amazing.
That is amazing, man. You sound super busy, and that's a good problem to have.
I am not waiting for people to call me. That's for sure. Even Bramford said to me, "Don't call them; they will offer you
Yes.
nothing." My thing is, no one knows me. I wish I can be Bramford Marsalis or somebody else's name, or have an agent to promote me. Those things are vanished in today's life. If somebody wants a booking agent, or a manager, you know, it's gonna have to happen out of a miracle, or out of, like, getting your face in a movie and then promoting yourself as an artist or as a musician, because celebrity overrules everything else. So you have to become a celebrity for people to ask you instead of someone else. And my part of dealing with celebrity is that the minute they will think about me, they will think about the whole background I have and the whole music experience and the whole Jewish music thing, so I can bring that along, which is really paying off, because it's been allowing me to open up a lot of doors that otherwise would be shut forever.
Man, the promotion and getting your name out there, and it sounds like you're doing a great job of it.
Well, it's never enough, but when you go in, you make a banner with the name of the band. So when you have a show, you put the banner. Why? Because people take pictures, they make videos, so they know who you are. They don't have to put underneath, "This is the klezmer juice man." You have to think about, like, what's going on now. People have a tremendous, powerful tool in their hands. It's called a cell phone, that they can even do live
Yes.
broadcasting. So there's always somebody listening, always. And if there's nobody listening, because there are three drunk people in the audience, and you go with your own phone, you log into your own Facebook, and you do your own live event, and you broadcast live your own event, and stop complaining that no one else is doing, because you gotta wipe your own ass. So if you don't wipe your own ass, your ass will be dirty forever. So, if nobody's Facebook live broadcasting your show, you go do your own
There you
phone, or
go.
bring your old iPad. But there's no excuse. I mean, when we really get excuses out of the equation, it's like getting time out of the equation. When you put time away, everything is wonderful. But when you add time to the equation, everything ends up being in zero or disappointment.
Wow. Yes. Yes. And yes, I love the wipe your own ass analogy. I just have to say that you don't want your ass to be dirty forever. Now, I know you have shared a lot of highlights with us so far, from the House of Blues to Eltono Jono and all of that good stuff. But is there a highlight that you care to share that you maybe haven't shared on the show yet?
Yeah, the happiest day of my life was the day I realized I really wanted to be a musician, and everything else became secondary. So I was able to go to school, go to college, go to medical school, go to psychology, put up with everything else, leave my homeland, away from everything,
Yeah.
because I know that I am in love with what I do. And it's not a privilege, it's a big responsibility. It's not a burden, it's a gift, but you got to run with it. When they give you the torch, the Olympic torch, you got to run. You cannot walk.
Yeah.
You got to run. So I realized I wanted to run with this torch, and run forever.
Do you remember the day that you realized you wanted to be a musician? Do you remember, like, was there a exact moment where you're like, I want to be a musician forever? Or was it like a gradual process?
It wasn't. It went from I wanted to be to that I am, and I discovered that I had uh, no input in my life, but my life was teaching me how to, first and foremost, how to listen. I was very grateful to encounter the gift of dropping the gas and listen. people don't listen. I wasn't listening. I was so stubborn that my whole childhood went from wrong, close-minded, statements to not really be able to listen to the break the myths and build my own thing. So through traveling and living life, I became a stronger person, and that gave me the strength to listen to myself.
Wow. Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
the moment that I listen to myself with a loud voice, uh, I challenge everything else. I realized I was walking the wrong direction. I needed to start walking in the right direction, and to so strongly that all the resistance that I faced, I was able to adapt to it instead of fighting. Because I couldn't understand why we fighting. Because I want to be a musician. There's already hard.
Yeah.
It's already tough. It's already challenging. Why putting more weight on the cart? If you cannot help or support, get out of the way. When you're ready to support, get in the picture. But as long as you cannot support, get out of the way. Then the wise people I follow became not so wise, and other people became
Okay.
wiser. And my voice matched the growth I wanted to experience and to feel, and to understand that it's important for me to feel that I'm growing, but it's also important for other people to reflect that on you in trust and in pride, in opportunities, and in good things that come to you, you know and that is to every single one who's listening to me. You don't have to be old, you don't have to be young. Listen to yourself really loudly,
Okay.
because you're in constant motion. You're constantly changing. The only constant thing in your life is change. What you think is good today, in a minute will be not good, and so forth. So embrace change. Embrace that change in you, because the change you experience goes either to growth or goes either to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, there's just so much in this interview. Normally there's like one or two like things where I'm like thinking, okay, I could name the show this or name the show that, or like there's this quote here that I want to highlight. But in this interview it's just like so much you're bringing to the table, and I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it a million times. Totally do. I think that a conversation in this time and age is a million people together. It's not just
Yeah.
you and me. I represent my million. You represent your own million, and the fact that we can connect and talk in this medium is encouraging. So my real intention is to encourage you, and I think that because you are saying such beautiful words, uh, I think I really came to the right shore.
Yes.
I was able to encourage you, to not only entertain you, but really put something in you that it will grow like a tree. It will, a little seed that will grow in you, and you will remember me for a long time as a good friend who planted a good seed. uh, and it's up to you to go and water it and love it and make it your own, and show it to the world how your beautiful tree is
Yes.
growing, and never be ashamed of it.
The Gustavo tree.
The Gustavo tree is the Aaron tree, because it's not the most profound thing is to be able to pass this to someone else. Most of the things I'm saying to you is not things that I came up with. It's things that I being able to share with other people, you know, being able to I learn English to be able to incorporate more wisdom to my life, not to like do nothing or to choose what to
Yeah.
do with it, to empower myself. These are tools for empowerment. We need to understand that people love it and say whatever, the darkness, the brightness, it's all tools for empowerment,
Definitely,
right?
man.
The same knife that cuts the beef cuts your own throat.
It's so true though. It's so true. All right, man. So I got two more questions for you. All right, I got two more
Go ahead.
questions. This next one, what do you want people who come see you or Klezmer Juice perform to remember and take away from your performance?
Firstly, they just want to really to have fun with no boundaries. I don't want them to think. I want them to feel. I want them to respond, and I want them to have a good time. I want them to live in a higher spirit that they came.
That's awesome. That's kind of what you should go to, like, want people to take away, in a way. Like, come from the sounding of what you've talked about, it sounds like something that I would almost expect from you, that you want them to leave better than when they came because you want to continue to give.
I want them to survive. And, there's two situations in life. You can be in a development mode or you can be in survival mode. And most of us are in survival mode. So, uh, knowing that the very people have the means to keep developing, and most of us have the means to survive. Let's say I play for a retirement home or for old folks. I play for an event called Cafe Europa, which is the survivors of the Holocaust. And all these people are really old, right? Are getting older and older. But when they come and they immerse in this pool of klezmer music, they become young again. Not only young in age, they become happily young. And when I finish, I see them smiling, I see them happy, I see them gaining strength through happiness, and I see them more beautiful towards each other. And what I see the most is that they come and they kiss me and they tell me how much this music means to them, and they are able to release more energy that they wanted to release. And I always joke with them and I said, well, when I came over here, I see nothing but old folks, but now I see teenagers completely out of control. And they love to hear that because it's just the magic of the performance. And everybody wants to feel that you belong to the performance. It's not the band and you, it's all together. So, this togetherness, I made it my motto in my life. I can conduct this, uh, and I'm responsible for creating this, and I'm responsible for gearing from one shore to the other. So, that's what I do. And if I'm good enough and serious enough and honest enough and lucky enough and fortunate enough, I'll make it to the day I die.
There you go. And I have that one final question for you. Before I get to that question, though, where can people find you on the internet? What's your corner of the World Wide Web?
klezmerjuice.net.
All right. And any social media handles you want to throw out if they want to?
Yeah, Facebook, go to Klezmer Juice, which is it's called like Klezmer, and juice as an orange juice, which is Juice, which means nothing. But at the time when I wanted to create a band, I went to Amoeba Music and I wanted to be right behind the Klezmatics. So I had to make up a name that will be right behind. So I asked the manager of Amoeba, which will be the name of a band that will be right behind Klezmatics. And she said something like Klezmer. And I said, what about Klezmer Juice? Perfect. And I was like, that's it. Klezmer Juice. I'm right behind the Klezmatics.
There you go, man. That's planning right there. That's planning right there. So I as I said, I got one final question for you, and I appreciate you talking with me for what's been like 2 hours now.
Two
I know,
hours.
but it's been a blast. It's been a blast, and
Absolutely, man.
and get you answering it. All right, so it's time for that final question, the title question of the show, Gustavo. Gustavo. So, Gustavo Bulgach, how do you live uncontained?
I see myself and what I do as an iceberg. Um, 10% of what I do shows in the surface, and 90% of what I do is underwater, meaning the underwater is the most important part. And you have to be really dedicated in terms of self discipline. The only thing that will get you from here to wherever you want to go is to gain the trust of other people. But firstly, you have to gain your own trust. And by gaining your own trust, I mean that 90% of the under the water iceberg is your homework, your dedication, your extra hour of practice, your striving for best, your I had a bad night, and be really sincere with yourself in terms of like, did you suck or someone else sucked? And if someone else sucked, is it worth it to stay with it, or is it worth the risk to achieve
Yeah.
greatness? Um, so the greatness is you never have a bad thing, because everything will be kind of like a pieces of a puzzle that you don't know where the next piece will come from. And when you put together a puzzle, you grab a piece randomly and you don't even know where that piece belongs in the beginning. But when the puzzle is all done, every piece is equally important. So to put the puzzle together, some people start by putting the frame, which is the easiest part, because you put
Yeah.
the frame and then you start filling up the inside. Some other people put the easiest ideas, like a face or like a house. So you see, everyone is different, but the idea is to put this puzzle together with pieces that we think we know who were they. So the guidance for everyone is be serious, be really serious. The manifestation of that seriousness will come out of your skin, but serious doesn't mean being angry or being unfriendly or being close minded or close hearted. It's the opposite. Serious people are the most fun people, are the most beautiful people, are the most gifted people, and are the people who have no restraint in
Yeah.
giving it to you. Why? Because the idea behind this is to enlighten you, not to keep that shit for myself. Is to enlighten. You have to have this idea in your mind. If he can do it, I can do it too.
Gustavo, would you do me the honor of signing off the show tonight?
Of course, Aaron. This is Gustavo Bulgach, and I live uncontained.
And that does it for another episode of Uncontained. Thank you for listening, and thank you once again to Gustavo Bulgach talking with me via Squadcast. Yes, I record this episode over squadcast.fm, and the guys there really took care of me, making sure this episode sounded as good as it did. So thank you to the guys at Squadcast, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this episode to Uncontained, and recommend it to a friend, and then make flyers and put them all around town. And well, okay, I'll settle for a subscription and a referral, but that would be awesome. Help the show grow, help people find the show, and stuff like that. Yes, stuff like that. So, next week, I will have part 3 of Gustavo. No, I'm just kidding. I'll have a brand new guest for you, and that's... No, I'm just kidding. I'll have a brand new guest for you, and until next time, live uncontained.